Last night on segment 2, we showed you the suffering of the Romanian children, the forgotten Romanian children, tens of thousands of orphans who were never adopted after the 1989 execution of dictator Nicolae Ceausescu. Some of the children were gypsies, others were ill or just not attractive enough for someone to free them from the misery of Romania's state-run orphanages. But some children did get out. This Pleasanton teenager is one of the lucky ones. She was adopted when she was sick and hungry and only 2 months old. She is one of the hundreds of Romanian orphans who ended up in good homes here in the Bay Area.
I feel very blessed because I got a nice mom and I got a nice family. I have nice friends.
Her Romanian name was Florina, meaning flower. She is Caitlin Hope Luttrell today, and she knows how lucky she is.
She adopted me, and she's a child of hope, and so she called me Hope.
Her life could have been much like those of the estimated 100,000 Romanian orphans now on the streets of Bucharest, who were part of the failed social experiment of Nicolae Ceausescu. He took them away from their families, put them in orphanages, and kept them there in hopes of creating a robot workforce. Many are robots, all right, but not the kind Ceausescu envisioned. They are the lost and unloved children of Romania. And 13 years after the death of Ceausescu, the democratic government of Romania is still struggling to cope with the enormity of the problems he left behind. In fact, there are still orphanages with unwanted children, but nothing like before. At this once notorious orphanage, the world's largest child advocacy organization, World Vision, is making it possible for these single mothers to keep their children.
Her father threw her out of the house, and the grandfather said that she can leave the baby in an orphanage or just go there, leave the baby there, and she can leave. She does not have conditions to raise her baby during the winter. It is cold and they have no wood.
In Romania, it is common these days for women to have up to 13 abortions in their lifetimes.
She had 2 children, and one of them died when she was 3 months pregnant. And one of them died when he was born because of the sniff of the substance she's sniffing. But on the other hand, she feels good that she's okay with the fact that God took her children because she wouldn't have had any place to raise them.
But despite all of the problems, life is not as cheap as it used to be, and there are other signs of hope, particularly in the northern rural areas. On the border of Moldova, World Vision workers teach a farmer how to build a greenhouse so that he can grow vegetables and feed his family and keep them out of orphanages. He then promises to teach someone else.
So I will try to choose the person as you choose me.
We traveled north, where in this breadbasket of the world anything can grow, but in Bucharest, food is scarce because the transportation system is broken down. About a mile uphill, World Vision workers are trying to reach another family living in squalor. Bună ziua. Hello, we say as we walked into their lives. How strange we must have looked to them as we asked them to tell us their stories.
They had 7 kids and one of them died.
That son, they said, died of AIDS. The father proudly showed us a bottle of aspirin they said they used to try to save the boy's life. He was once in an orphanage. They believe he got AIDS there. The youngest little girl is 2 years old, but no one puts her down to walk. She appeared to have rickets. Both ankles were turned in, and when she did walk, we all cheered. Bravo! Bravo! Yes! World Vision finds sponsors to help families such as this. $40 a month to teach a family how to shake this poverty and then teach others. Before the home that you just saw that this family of 8 was in, this is where they lived during the summertime, and their job was to watch the grapes, make sure nobody was stealing the grapes. But this is what a family of 8 lived in. As we walked down the hill, there was no doubt there is poverty here, but not the desperation we saw in Bucharest. One man asked if we wanted some wine. Another family made us bread as we made our way back down the hill. As we traveled the 9-hour drive back to Bucharest, the desperate, forgotten children were everywhere. We remembered Caitlin back home in Pleasanton and wondered if her family here had survived. And we thought how lucky she was to have an adoptive mother who saved her from all of this.
You go to places like this thinking that you're going to help a child and you're going to save them from some disaster, and what ends up being you thinking you're going to bless them ends up being the biggest blessing of your life.
If you're interested in sponsoring a family in Romania, again, it is just $40 a month through World Vision. Romania now has a democratically elected government, and it's now trying to get into the European Union. One of the reasons that Romanian officials let us do our stories was because they want the world to see that they are trying to make progress. Membership in the EU would help Romania step into the future, but it's contingent on Romania closing its orphanages and helping the street children. The EU vote is expected later this month. For more information about World Vision and its efforts to help the children of the world, you can go to the Channel 2 website at ktvu.com.